Welcome to Country Basket Weaving. I'm Sandy Atkinson, your hostess, and the basket that we'll be making today is our doll cradle, and we'll get right into it because there's a lot to cover today. For our cut pattern, you're going to take a piece of plywood and cut it 21 by 1/4 by 9 3/4. Drill 61 holes in it to fit your number 4 round reed and use an 1/8 of an inch drill bit. You'll need 2 wheelbases or 2 rockers, and I'll show you examples of both of those. Take number 4 round and cut it as follows: 1 piece at 29 inches, 12 pieces at 28, 6 at 27 inches, 6 at 26 inches, and 30 at 23 inches. You'll also need some number 3 round and number 1 seagrass. You'll need 1/4 inch flat reed and a lot of wooden beads, 122 to be exact. I've chosen some colored ones to put in this one here. I'll show you other examples of what we've done, but just make a pattern with your beads. Here is our base. When you cut your rectangular piece, round off the corners here. And at the top here, you're going to drill 2 holes that are off center, and at the base down here, you're going to drill a hole that is in the center from your corners. The holes are spaced 7/8 of an inch apart, and they're drilled 3/8 of an inch from the outer edge. We'll go right on to the next basket. I've already got mine cut here, and as I cut them, I insert them. That way I don't lose which ones are which and go in which hole. So put your 29-inch piece right here at the top at that one centered hole. Then you're going to put 6 pieces of the 27-inch on either side of the hole of your center mark here. You're going to put 6 pieces of your 26-inch next, 3 on each side, and you're going to put 6 pieces of your 26-inch here. This one would be 27, 26, and then your 30 23-inch pieces are going to continue around. You're going to do the same on this side that you did over here. I want you to stick them down in here. It works better if they're wet first. Stick them in the hole. About 5 inches on the bottom is what you need. Then turn your base over. Take your needle nose pliers, and you're going to put a crimp here. And remember, that's just a good squeeze with your needle nose pliers. Do it right at the base, and we'll get on with our 2-step braid. This is an easy braid to do. I think you'll think it's lots of fun. Starting anywhere, take 1 piece and go behind 2. Take the next piece behind 2. This is the same pattern. I want you to work this pattern all the way around the basket, always taking 1 piece here. I'm going to the left, behind 2, and to the outside. When you come to your rockers or your wheels, whichever one you have, oops, I missed one here, behind 2. You're going to have to just work around those pieces. And I know it gets tight in there, but it's not impossible. Just kind of bend them back. Make sure you keep these good and wet so they don't break off. Let me do one more. Okay, assuming I've taken this pattern all the way around, when I come back here, this will be my last piece. I've gone all the way around. This is my last piece. It's going to go in here. So just pick up that piece and it goes in there. Starting again, these are all finished. I'm going to pick up 1 piece, starting anywhere, pick up the piece behind it to the right, lift it up, it creates a little hole in there, and it simply sticks in there to the inside. Taking this piece, I'm doing the same thing, sticking it in there to the inside. And keep right on going, working all your pieces all the way around the same way. And again, when you get to your rockers or to your wheels, you're going to have to work around those. When you come to the end again, it'll just work in naturally to go right in there. Okay? I'm going to use the same base. Here's my long pieces, that 29-inch piece that we cut, this is my long pieces. As I work this cradle, these pieces are always going to be on my right side. So my hood, which the long pieces represent or will be on my right side. I'm going to take a piece of seagrass, my #1 seagrass, and I'm going to take a piece of #3 round. I already have mine soaking. Remember, you need to soak the reed for 3-5 minutes to get it good, soft, and pliable. I'm taking my 2 end pieces, and I'm starting at the side, and I'm sliding one in here and one in the next one to it. So I have them side by side, but going in different holes, different spaces here. Taking the one on the left, I am going to loop around my next empty spoke. One on the left, my next empty spoke. I'm going to work this pattern. This is twining, and I'm just twining with seagrass and #3 round, and it's going to really create a beautiful pattern here. I'm going to work this pattern all the way around. When I come up to the other side, I'll continue weaving right on top of here where I've already gone, and I'll count my rows here. And I want you to do 6 rows. The same pattern there. And here, I've already finished here's my 6 rows. And see this pretty pattern I get with the seagrass? Intertwined with just the #3. Then I'm going to drop on the beads, and simply they just drop down here. They have a hole in the middle. Drop them down. Here I've created a pattern, different colors, and they work around. When you come to your pattern, when you come around to the back here, it will be off because you have an odd number. You have 61 holes. Nothing divides into 61. So what you'll do is you'll just have to play with the pattern a little bit back here so it won't show. And that's exactly what I've done. Then we're going to take and we're going to drop all of our beads on. Then we're going to do 2 rows of just plain twine with #3 round. Remember how we put a crimp into it and fold it over, loop it? Here's my loop, and I've done 2 rows. I'm just coming up on the end of my 2 rows here. The one from the left always goes behind the one on the right. If you're left-handed, you can reverse this pattern. It works equally well. When I come up here, I will stop here. This is where I started. This is my loop. If I twined on there again, I would be actually starting my 3rd row. So I'm going to end here, cut off my weavers, simply stick them inside. We'll go back later and do some trim work on them. Now we're ready to start our 1/4 inch. Take out a piece of your 1/4 inch flat, and I want you to put a taper on the end, and you're going to come in here and make about 1.5 inch taper. Okay? Coming from behind, got some little pieces here sticking out. Okay, coming from behind. Remember we have those 2 holes drilled off center in the rear of this cradle? I'm going to put my reed right between those 2 holes. So I have a center hole here, and my reed goes between. I'm going to just weave this an over-under pattern. Make sure the right side of your reed is facing out. We're going to weave this around. I have to set it down. I can't weave holding it up. Over, under. Very basic, very simple to do. Keep your rows packed down tight. This 1/4 inch should be packed right in with your twining. Watch your corners when you come around your corners. Most people have a tendency to pull this real tight so that their basket, when they're working on it, kind of narrows as they work up. So be real careful at your corners. Keep that nice shape. Because we have an odd number of spokes in this basket, we are able to continue. We can do a continuous weave. So when I come back here, I do not have to stop and start each row. That was why we put that in there. I'll come around here, and this is where I started. I'm simply going to continue weaving, and the pattern works itself right out. Continue this for 10 rows. We have 10 rows of the 1/4 inch. Pack each row in down tight as you work. Just stop and pack it in a little bit as needed. And we'll get out our next one here. Oh, if I can find it, it's over here. Okay, this one's been stuck in a bucket and it's kind of misshaped, but it'll come out, it's wet. I have my 6 rows here, I have beads here, my 2 rows, and my 10 rows here. Now we're going to repeat the pattern and we're going to put in 3 rows of our seagrass in our number 3 round, the very same that we did down here. We're just going to repeat it up here. We're going to drop our beads. Remember, I have 61 spokes. I have 61 beads here and 61 here. That's 122 beads you need for the basket. Up here, I have done 3 rows of twining again. So this is just a repeat of the pattern that you've already done. I'm going to turn this around because remember I have to keep my hood on the right side. When you come around from doing these top 3 rows, you're going to go right into your hood, so don't cut off these weavers that we have here. Mine are nice and long. We're going to come up here. Remember we have a center. I'm going to find my center spoke, which is right here, and I'm going to mark it. I'm going to count off 12 on either side. And I'm going to mark it here and count off 12 here. And they should be pretty well opposite of each other. Coming over here, I'm going to continue my twining. And when I get to this 12 one here, I'm going to pick up just a little bit and start bringing this up to create that open weave that we have on our hood. Now this is going to tangle. Mine's starting to tangle over here. So just stop a minute, come back here and untangle it. It's kind of like braiding hair. It gets tangled. I can take my center clip off. I no longer need to know where the center is. I'm going to do 1 complete row to my other clothespin. You can do lots of different colors with your beads. I have here some black ones and white and natural and just alternated them. This gets tangled. Almost there. When I get there, I'm simply going to turn around. 1 more. Now I'm going to straighten this back out. I like to work with a long piece like I have here. I have 2 long pieces, and that's simply so I can do most of the hood without too many inserts of new pieces. I'm going to bring this one around, and it's going to reverse and go the other way. And this is going to swing around, reverse and go the other way also. Then I'm going right back. Okay, do you see what I've done here? I've switched them around. I need to do it the other way because this one needs to go behind, but it doesn't twine. See how these are not twined? So I'm simply going to remove them and take this one around first, and then the one in front, and that'll put me on the pattern. This one goes behind. That looks much neater. Before it looked like I had missed one, which really I actually had. Work this row back, and now we're going to have to think about spacing. So bring this down, pinch this down here where we did our turn. Pinch this down here. Should be about a finger spacing in here. So I'm going to go back and kind of look at my first row. Then when we get down towards the ends, they're going to kind of taper down and taper right off. Then come back and finish this row. Keep a finger space between your rows. And I know it's a nuisance to have such a long length, but it really pays off when you have a nice looking cradle hood. We'll straighten these out again. We're going to weave this all the way back to where I started on that 12th one from the center. And I'm going to do the same thing and turn again and go back. The next row I'm going to start arching down my hood. Almost there. Okay, come back and straighten this out. Keep it about a finger width apart. You should be able to eyeball it too. Come down here, and we're going to turn on that 12th one and go back. Now watch when you turn again. You need to come down here and do some shaping. Do a turn here. If you have trouble turning it, don't be afraid to take your needle nose pliers and put a little crimp in it there. If it doesn't seem to turn, sometimes you'll have a stiff piece of reed that won't turn real well for you. Put a crimp on it. Okay, this time we're going to start arching these down. So we'll start forming our hood. And work this back. The next row you bring around here, and you're going to turn again on that 12th one. And then work your way back and keep arching these down as you work. Work them back and forth. And that's how you'll create that hood. Over here we have one started, or we have one finished. And again, it's been kind of misshaped. Kind of shape it back up. But see how I've worked these back and forth? This one needs to be spaced, I can see in here. Come back, they shift real easy. Then I want you to do 2 rows across the top. Take your pieces when you finish and just leave them inside the ends. Now we're going to start our 3-step braid that goes around the top. And I want you to take your needle nose pliers and crimp each one in here. Give it a crimp. Whoops, okay? Crimp it all the way around. I've already done that. Again, we're going to start with our hood at our right-hand side. I'm going to take a minute, and I'm going to insert a green piece of reed. 2 purposes. I want to show you how you can fix this if you should break one of these spokes off. And I also want to put in a green one so you can kind of follow it along and see where it goes. And I think we're going to do that way back here in the back. So we'll end up here in the middle with it. So let's just pretend I broke that off. To add a new piece, we're going to insert our knitting needle down in here and open this up. Now I have my bead here, and I don't think the hole in my bead is large enough to have both pieces go through. So what I'm going to do is clip this down here at the bottom of the bead. Then stick in my piece up here so I don't lose my twining. Come in here and take out this. Hopefully yours won't break here at the bead. Go through the hole on the bead. Okay. Come down here, insert your knitting needle, open that space up so you can put in your new round. Work it down into the 1/4 inch and kind of hide it under there. Hide it inside so you don't see that end. Come up here, cut off the length at the top, the same length that you have all these other pieces. Okay, we've already done our crimps. We've added our broken piece. Now we're going to start our 3-step braid. I'm going to come back here, and to start this, it's already been crimped. We're going to go behind 2 and out 1. Starting anywhere, go behind 2, out 1, and I'm going to the right. Going behind 2 and out 1. We're going to work this pattern all the way up. I'm not going to take the time to do the whole thing all the way around, so I'll just do it up past the hood. Then I'll let you assume that it's all finished. Behind 2 and out. Behind 2 and out. I'll go right up over the hood a little ways. This isn't a hard braid, I think. I'm going to put a clothespin up to hold that there. I'm assuming that you've already done it when we've finished it all the way around. Again, starting anywhere, you're going to pick up 1, pick up the 2 in front of it, and bring this around here and rest it on that crimp. And it probably will pop out, but can you see where I've rested on the crimp? Pick up 2, go underneath them, rest it on the crimp, Your spoke will be pointing to the inside of the basket. Pick up 2 and rest it on the crimp. There's my colored reed that we'll come back to. It's going to probably pop off. We'll just simply replace it if it does. Pick up 2, go underneath, rest it on the crimp. I'm going to lay this down. Let you see it from a different angle. I'm picking up 2, resting it on the crimp. Come around here, follow the same pattern. You would do this all the way around the basket. I'll go up over the hood and we'll clip it again. Work it up here. Okay, I'm going to take this clip off and I'm going to clip it up here, and you're going to assume I've done that all the way around the basket, okay? Because it is a long ways around. Now we're going to come in here. We're going to need our knitting needle for this part. I'm going to make sure that I'm always on the left side of my crimp. Sometimes it slips off and gets over to the right. Simply use your needle and push it back. Following the crimp, the one that's bent, we're going to follow that around. It comes under here, comes out right here, and that's where I'm coming out with my piece. Whoops. If you have to, go in with your knitting needle and open that hole up and come out with there. Now it's underneath here, that same piece. Follow it through, and it shoots up here. That's that piece that shoots up. I'm going to come right here where it goes under, and I'm going to take my piece and I'm going to push it down, so it'll be down here. One more, we're going to do it a few times so you really get this. Here's my crimp, I'm following this through, comes out here, so I'm going to pick it up here. Then I'm going to follow through here. The old piece shoots up, the piece I'm putting in is going to go down. Okay, we're almost to our green piece here. Here's my crimp, here's my piece, comes along and it comes out here, and it comes down and goes in here. Okay, now we're on my colored piece. Here it is. Here's my spoke that I'm taking, and this is my crimped piece right here. We're going to follow that one through and it comes up here. Open that up and take your piece and put in. Then come back, following that same piece, which is right here. I'm going to go down. That piece shoots up here. I'm going to go in between these spokes here, and I'm going to take mine down. Let's do it a few more times so you get it. It's not real difficult, but it does take time to learn. Following it through, it comes in here. Following it through, and it goes down here. Keep this wet too. I find a sponge works really good. If you're drying out, take a sponge or a spray bottle and sponge it down. Okay, coming in here. This is my crimped piece. Come around here, find where it comes out. Put it in there, follow it through here. Open that piece up and stick it in. This is it here, comes around here. Find where it goes in clear over here. Actually, it's skipping 2. Can you see here? Here's 1, here's 2. It's always on the pattern of 2. That might make it a little easier for you to find. Come up and it goes in there. We're going to go right under. Well, actually, we're on top of it, but we're going inside. I think you got that. One more time and then we'll quit. I'm going to follow this around here, going up in here, coming around, and we're pushing our piece down in there. Okay? We're going to end up with this beautiful braid here, a 3-step braid. The handle that we're going to put on this one, I've taken 3 lengths of your number 1 seagrass, knotted it up here, braided it out, a simple braid that you'd use on your little girl's hair if you have a little girl. Simply braid it out, just your 3-stranded braid, and I've taken these ends here, coming down here, assuming that these are all done. I've inserted it in here for a pull. Then when you get over here, you might want to finish braiding out these little pieces here. and then simply put a knot on it. And you have a really nice little pull here. Okay, then come here and put a little knot on it. Probably about, you should end up with what, about a 2-foot length, 3 foot maybe. Come in here and cut off the ends, and you've got a pull. This is a nice braid to use for other baskets too. We'll go into that later. The basket that we'll be working on next is named after my daughter. Oh, before we go, I'd like to show you almost forgot to show you the wagon. The handle piece was added, has the wheels on it, and I wove up a pattern and we made a little wagon here. This basket here was named after my first daughter, Natalie. It was created for her, and it's called Natalie's Hearts. It's one we'll be working on in our next show. I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.